everybody, welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies. And today, we're going to be reviewing Novocaine, the 2025 action flick starring Jack Quaid. Right now, I'm going to have some information up on screen for you to read, like director, runtime, and PAA rating. All of that will be up on screen for you to read right now. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on Novocaine. But without further ado, let's get right into the pros. Alright, starting off, I gotta go ahead and talk about this disability that Novocaine, Jack Quaid's character, has in the movie, which is a real disease from our real life that does exist. I forget the name of it. I'm pretty sure it will be up on screen in the editing phase. So there it is. But it's a condition that where you don't have the ability to feel pain, and you might think, oh, that's kind of not a bad thing to deal with. Oh, they go ahead and explain how this isn't really a cool thing because people that have this condition should have to be very precautious. So Novocaine in this movie has tennis balls on the edges of tables. He can't really eat solid food in fears of him biting off his tongue because again he can't feel pain. And they say that people with this condition usually have a life expectancy of 25 years. Now, I haven't done really that much research into this real life disease, so I'm not sure if that 25-year life expectancy thing is accurate in real life, but I do like that they went ahead and give a brief overall for people that don't really know about this disease and show them the downsides of having this. And yeah, I felt that they had that very well. I also thought the main lead of cast members in this movie also did a pretty good job. You got Jack Quaid in here, which I think he's on the rise of becoming a very great actor. I mean, you had him in movies like Scream 5 and Companion, which I literally just reviewed. It was my previous review, but getting to it here, I thought he did a pretty good job as the character of Novocaine. And Mid-Thunder, who you might remember from the 2022 Hulu movie Prey. I also thought she did a pretty good job here in this movie as the character of Sherry. I thought she was a pretty good love interest for the character of Novocaine. And you also got Jacob Batalon, who is most famously known as the character of Ned Leeds in the MCU Spider-Man trilogy. Who knows if he'll be appearing in Brand New Day, but I thought he did a pretty good job here as this character who's this online friend to Novocaine. Although it sucks that we don't really see Jacob Batalon actually on screen until halfway into the movie, I still thought he did a pretty good job in this movie. But outside of those three main cast members, I also thought Ray Nicholson in here did a pretty good job here as this main villain of the movie, who was this bank robber who orchestrated this entire bank heist, which leads Novocaine to go rescue Sherry, who was taken hostage. And just like with Jack Quaid, I think Ray Nicholson is on his way to have a pretty successful career in Hollywood. I mean, he did a pretty good job in the movie Smile 2, where he was kind of menacing as part of this smile demon hallucination for the character Sky Riley, and I thought he did a pretty good job here as this bank robber character in Novocaine. But getting back to the characters of Nathan and Sherry, I thought their relationship in here was done really well, and I feel that they built that up very well. So when that bank heist scene happens and Ray Nicholson's character eventually takes Sherry as a hostage, you get and understand why Novocaine decides to go after these robbers to get Sherry back. I felt that aspect was done very well. But the biggest pro that I can give this movie has to be towards the action sequences in this movie because of Novocaine's inability to feel pain. They go ahead and get pretty creative with some of these action sequences, earlier on when Nathan Kane is going after the first of three of the bank robbers, you do get some cool action sequences where a gun falls into like this deep fryer, and Nathan Kane, without any hesitancy, sticks his hand into that deep fryer and retrieves the gun. And it, yeah, that was pretty cool. And you also got like this R-rated like Home Alone sequence, which Violent Night did that better. But here I thought that was pretty cool. Like Nathan didn't realize that yeah, there was like this spiked ball on his back where an arrow went through his leg until like a few seconds later because he didn't feel that pain. And I felt like that was pretty good, especially the scene where Jack Wade is like getting tortured and he can't feel the pain and he has to pretend that he does feel the pain. I thought that was pretty funny, but honestly, it was that third act, which admittedly I felt like that it could have been a con because it would have been like a lackluster final battle, but no, it didn't, and it continues on, and it gets progressively more gruesome to where Nathan Kane's bones are starting to get exposed, and he uses those bones to like stab up the Ray Nicholson's character, which I felt that the action sequences in here were pretty inventive and creative and make this movie one pretty entertaining movie, and honestly the most entertaining movie of the year. And this is also one of those movies that I do recommend you guys go ahead and give it a shot. Even if the trailers didn't interest you, I still recommend you go ahead and check this movie out. But there are still like some minor cons that could be considered like nitpicks for this movie Novocaine. So let's get into those cons. Alright, starting off, there were like these two cop characters in the movie that, to me, they really didn't do much to the movie. I felt like that they were kind of like the weaker parts of the movie, and they probably could have been removed from the movie, and I would have been a lot better. And yeah, these two cop characters really didn't do much towards like the overall plot for the movie. All they did was just add like some like suspense for like Jack Wade's character of Nathan Kane on the run from the cops. But another con I have with the movie is like a plot twist in the movie that, to me, yeah, was surprising, but really wasn't that big of an impact of a plot twist out of like the many twists that I've seen throughout various different movies. Like, it just didn't do much for me. Along with not seeing like Jacob Babylon like on screen until like halfway into the movie. But putting those three cons aside, this was still a rather entertaining movie that, yeah, the trailers made it look good and it definitely delivered. So if you were interested in this movie from the trailers, go ahead and check it out because to me, it did not disappoint and it definitely won't disappoint for you either. So for my scorecard, I'm gonna give Novocaine 4 stars, with the score out of 10 being 8.5 out of 10, with the percentage being 85%, with a grade of B, with my final verdict being cool premise that delivers on being entertaining. But that was my review for Novocaine. I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys' thoughts on this movie? Go ahead and leave that down in the comment section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. And have a great day.